Hi, welcome to Kremes Podcast.
Podcast yang paling receh and garing, but maybe informative too, depending on the day.
You can tune into our episodes on Instagram, YouTube, SoundCloud, and Facebook. I'm T.
And I'm A,
Semoga podcast ini bisa nemenin lo.
and hope you enjoy the episode. Hey guys, hari ini kita mau bahas tentang apa sih bedanya edukasi di Aussie sama di Indo. And maybe bisa jadi tips buat kalian yang mau ke Australia. Contoh nih beda-bedanya ya, misalnya Aussie itu kita mulai tahun ajaran dari Februari sampai Desember. Sedangkan di Indo kan kita mulai dari Juli ke Juni. Kayak perbedaan-perbedaan seperti itu, mungkin kayak uniform atau pelajaran dan segala macam. And untungnya kita berdua juga ada siblings, jadi kita punya dedek, jadi kita bisa jelasin pure dari SD sampai SMA based on our own experience atau our sister's experience yang kita udah rasain sendiri. So yeah, a little background about me ya. Gue tuh dulu di Indo National Plus dari kelas 1 sampai kelas 9. Terus gue pindah ke Aussie waktu kelas 9.
Yeah.
Cuma bentar sih, cuma kayak 1 bulan, again because of the the tahun ajaran yang cuma bentar. Terus gue lanjut di Aussie itu public school sampai kelas 12 sampai lulus, terus akhirnya ke uni. Kalau lu gimana, Teh?
Yeah, I'm really excited about this one. Karena ini topik yang populer dan sering dibahas karena selalu relevan ya. Juga lumayan penting dan menarik untuk bicara tentang kayak perbedaan in terms of culture, getting educated in different countries, dan lain-lainnya. Not just schooling, but I think also uni life gitu. But that's definitely for another episode. Today we'll focus purely on comparing and contrasting the main elements of like Indo school versus Aussie schools. Kalau nggak di limit, ngobrolan kita nggak akan selesai-selesai. Tapi sih kayak, we'll focus on, I guess, the more obvious components of education, namely, I guess, like the schooling aspects, maybe like the subjects that we'll learn, and other things. There's so much that we can talk about though, so like we can't cover everything in this episode. So I think we'll just sort of like, touch on some points, and let us know if you're interested in us covering anything that we might have missed in this episode, so we can make more parts. Background edukasi gue sih lumayan berantakan ya, dan seluruh tempat gitu. I've hopped back and forth going to schools in different countries. I did national primary in Indo, but I also did a Singaporean primary school education system for a little bit in Indo. I went to a private middle school in Australia, and then I finished high school in an international school in Indo. So like there was a lot going on. Tapi, before we get really into that, hal apa yang ada di pikiran lo sekarang?
Okay, disclaimer dulu kali ya. T and I are sharing our experiences. Jadi kita mulai masuk SD tuh around 2003-2004 and graduated SMA di 2013-2014. Dan karena kita ada pindah negara dari Indo ke Australia atau dari Australia ke Indo, jadi ada perbedaan dikit. Jadi kalau di Indo kan kita mulai tahun ajaran dari Juli ke Juni ya. Kalau di Aussie itu Februari ke Desember. Jadi kita ada lompat kelas. Kalau bisa ditanyain gitu ya, I think the first thing that comes to my mind is the uniform. Karena gue ngerasa banget uniform tuh mirip, same but different gitu loh. So let's start with uniform. Di Aussie kita tetap harus pakai uniform sampai SMA, gak kayak di Amerika ya, yang bisa pakai baju bebas. Dan ada bedanya juga sih, kayak public sama swasta tuh the uniform is different. Dimana kalau swasta tuh bisa sampai pakai blazer gitu. Jadi karena gue dulu di public school di Aussie, our uniform itu cuma short sama polo t-shirt untuk kelas 1 sampai kelas 9. Terus of course beda sekolah, beda desain dan beda warna ya. Tapi pilihannya cuma short or pants sama polo t-shirt sama sport uniform. Jadi itu untuk kayak kalau misalnya winter and summer, shorts and pants kind of situation. Tapi waktu kelas 10 sampai 12 kita tetap pakai short and pants yang sama, tapi atasannya jadi shirt, jadi kemeja gitu biar mungkin lebih formal kali ya. Oh by the way, kita juga harus beli jaket. Itu tuh either jaket atau sweater sekolah. Jadi ada logo sekolahnya dan gak boleh pakai baju sendiri. Kecuali sepatu sama kaos kaki, itu boleh merek apapun. Sedangkan pas gue di Indo tuh inget banget hari Senin tuh kita seragam nasional ya. Jadi waktu itu gue merah putih, terus putih biru, terus putih abu-abu. Tapi hari lainnya tuh pakai seragam sekolah. Jadi sekolah gue sih ada dasi ya. Jadi kita ada seragam yang ada dasinya, terus ada seragam olahraganya juga. Tapi gue tuh boleh pakai jaket sendiri, gue boleh pakai jaket bebas, mau warna apa aja juga bebas, atau merek apa aja juga bebas, sepatu sama kaos kaki juga bebas. Kalau experience lu gimana, Ti?
I think it's like interesting to mention that in terms of uniforms and baju bebas, tergantung juga walaupun not only tergantung negerinya, tapi juga tergantung public versus private,
Yes.
and all that stuff, right? There's just so many like different conditions, I guess, behind it. Kalau gue sih,
Yeah.
karena gue swasta di Indo, lumayan similar ya. Kalau di Aussie, karena gue private school, gue harus pakai kayak blazer kayak dan baju tertentu gitu, like sampai kaos kaki juga specialty, even like hair ties, like we have to wear like specific colored ribbons that, I mean, you can buy anywhere, but like the uniform shop also sells like specific ribbons for like a really costly price. So it's like, I don't know, for me, maybe because it's like the whole like private school mindset, it just becomes
Yeah.
like a whole added burden, because like you just have this whole entire wardrobe that you have to like buy from like the get-go, and you have like
Yeah.
ada kayak uniform untuk musim summer, musim winter, jadi kayak rok ada kayak tinggal beda bahan aja gitu, but you have to wear a different one for the different season and different term. So it's like, mau nggak mau, you have to splurge on like 2 sets of wardrobes for your entire like
Yeah.
schooling career. And plus, furthermore, you've got like primary school uniform, middle school uniform, senior school uniform, jadi kayak selalu ganti-ganti gitu. So like, for me sih
Wow.
like bikin pusing gitu, karena mungkin terlalu banyak gitu, it's a bit of an overkill. But that being said,
Yeah,
like, I guess
I see.
that's my take on it. And I understand that, like, public schools in Australia have usually just, like, one uniform, like you said, like, one uniform to last through, like, you know, the entire year or even the entire lifetime.
Yeah.
But, like, you've got, like, PE uniform and non-PE.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, other schools have, like, you know, PE, non-PE, summer, winter, athletics, carnival, whatever, gitu. Tapi that kind of brings me to the question. Gue penasaran ya. Kayak, lu pikir uniforms, like, are they better than free dress in school?
Menurut gue sih ya, menurut gue sih nggak ada bedanya ya. Tapi justru gue seneng banget kalau ada uniform. Jadi itu kita nggak usah bingung banget mikirin baju apa hari ini. Gue sumpah gue mikirin rambut gue mau di style gimana aja tuh udah pusing dulu waktu gue di high school tuh. Gue inget banget gue kayak ikat 2 apa ikat 1, setengah ke atas sampai setengah ke bawah. Kayak itu tuh udah gue pikirin banget. Dan kayak even previously kayak waktu kita lagi di uni kan, gila gue tuh udah sampai bingung gitu setiap hari gue mau pakai baju apa ya, like I don't know what to wear. I was like I'm already running out of clothes, gue cuma pakai itu aja. Tapi kalau uniform tuh enak gitu, setiap hari ya udah yang penting pakai baju ini sama ini, paling beda dikit gitu. Tapi tetap menurut gue sih kalau di Aussie ya, mungkin karena tetap kita ada kebebasan gitu, kayak rambut kita boleh warna apa aja. Iya ya, orang rambut aslinya aja udah warna-warni ya enggak sih. Tapi tetap sih nggak boleh pakai makeup. Jadi I think like we still have that freedom that we can express ourselves. Tapi juga at the same time we still have that unity gitu loh. Kayak semua bajunya sama, kita nggak bisa yang kayak, nggak tahu, mungkin for the way I look at it, mungkin uniform itu bikin kita semua equal kali ya. Jadi kayak kita nggak bisa yang kayak gue barang branded gitu, lo enggak gitu, or like vice versa gitu. Atau kemarin sih gue sempet nonton Thai movie gitu kan, itu tuh kayak keren banget, sumpah gue suka banget. Tapi kayak dia tuh juga nanya gitu, kenapa kita harus pakai uniform kalau misalnya nilai kita nggak berubah gini gitu. Terus dia tuh kayak ngomong lebih ke like you wear uniform so people know who you are, and when you look at yourself in the mirror you know who you are, like you're a student. So like your responsibility is to study. Karena kalau misalnya kayak kita lagi di jalan, ketika kita butuh bantuan, we will straight away look for the police uniform, right? Because we need the police help gitu. So like, it's kind of a little bit like that. So like that kind of makes me like, maybe uniform is not so bad. But yeah, kalau gue sih jujur pribadi sih gue nggak ada itu ya, I don't have any thought about it. I never really like think much about it. Gue cuma yang kayak peraturannya gini, ya udah gue ikutin gitu doang.
Bener sih, kayak I agree. I think it's always like a two-sided argument, right? And there's pros and cons to each side. Mungkin dalam perspektif gua kayak for me sih because I was just so used to wearing uniforms. Like I've never been to school without wearing a uniform. I'm just used to it.
Yeah.
Whereas like I have friends who only ever went to school during with free dress, so like they don't understand the conformity and the restriction of a uniform. But that being said, also like most public schools in Australia, even though like maybe public schools in Australia that allow free dress, there's also I guess certain boundaries, certain restrictions, like certain like
true,
dress codes, which still makes sense, right? I mean, like you can't go like full out and like do whatever you want, but like you gotta keep like a modest skirt length, or like if you want to dye your hair, that's fine, but like don't like do super crazy, or like don't have too many piercings. Sometimes like even Australia's schools only allow you having like the clear plastic ear thing, like either that, like you can't have like you can't have sort of like dangling hoops. You have to have like studs or like the clear, I don't know, maybe some of you will understand or maybe not understand. But like it's like a clear white or like transparent kind of stud, and that was like the only thing you could wear back then. I don't know, but then again rules change. But I guess it's like in a way, school uniforms help students, like you said, focus on their education, not focus on their clothes. It also helps create a level playing field. Maybe it could reduce peer pressure and bullying. And it does give that sense of pride, right? I mean, especially, on your first day, your parents must be so proud when you get to wear that uniform and take that first day photo. But I also get that it has a few drawbacks, like it restricts freedom of expression, promotes conformity over individuality. Also, it's an added cost to buy, especially I guess from my perspective. The biggest drawback about uniforms for me has always been the cost, because especially me from like a private school where you have like a whole set for like every day pretty much. It definitely adds up, and I think it was just one of those like burdens, especially for my parents, to just kind of like having to adjust to that. On top of that, karena gue ada adik, dua adik, they have to kind of like either like repeat it, or hopefully the hand-me-downs are in a condition of being able to be handed down. Yeah.
Nggak sih, sama sih, gue juga kalau di keluarga gue juga sama. Like my sister is literally using my jacket right now, sampai udah nggak bisa pakai lagi, baru beli yang baru kan. Tapi at the same time emang nggak terlalu jelek juga sih their quality and stuff like that, so I think it's still able to. Of course kalau misalnya udah bolong-bolong juga kita kan nggak mau gitu kan. Tapi jujur ya, I wanna know what you think about it. Kadang kalau I see, kadang tuh uniform bisa impact kita punya persepsi nggak sih terhadap private school sama public school. Jadi kayak karena kelihatan banget kan bedanya, kelihatan banget beda desain atau beda warna. Yang satu lebih, apalagi kalau di Aussie ya, kayak I look at the private school, you have blazers on, like we know like you're from the private school. Do you think does it have affect our perception or like the society perception, atau kayak orang-orang biasa gitu kata lu, sebenarnya persepsi kita tuh ada nggak sih ke efek gara-gara uniform yang beda banget gitu?
I think it's like, I don't know, man, like from a uniform perspective, if you just take a look at uniforms, private versus public in Australia, I think it's mainly just like an external, like the look, like obviously you can tell, right, they look good. And then mungkin karena sekolah private-nya ada kayak a certain like heritage or like tradisi dari zaman dahulu that they keep up gitu. It's kind of like an added like added prestige, or an added sort of like I don't know, vibe on top of the high quality education that they're promoting. They also promote like our traditions of education and discipline and building good people. I don't know, but like walaupun ada widespread stereotip bahwa sekolah publik nggak sebagus sekolah private, I feel the educational curriculum standard in Australia is already very high. They want to make sure that all children have the opportunity to get high quality education that aims to teach good values in hopefully a supportive environment. So like regardless if you're in public or private, I think it's important to acknowledge that obviously it's the uniform is not the main thing you should worry about. It's obviously the education that determines whether or not that school is a good school or not. And I think that's good.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the main reasons why my parents decided to move to Australia. Like, you know, there's, regardless of what school you go to, rest assured the quality is probably still going to be there, or you know, at least better than maybe, you know, back in indoor or something. In fact, like, I noticed from grade 12 exam results in Australia, so like in Western Australia where we're from, the WACE results, a lot of high ranking schools are from public schools. Like all the high ranking students, they do come from public schools, so it's like it's not so much like a handicap if you go to a public school, not at all. You've got kind of like that level playing field, which is interesting. I'm not too sure about the stats in Indo though, which is why it's like probably not a fair observation, but this is just my opinion from sort of seeing things. But I guess that brings up sort of another question in me. If it's just as good, then like, why do people go to private schools in Australia? Like, is it actually just the prestige factor?
Jujur sih ya, gue agree banget sama apa yang lo bilang. Public school di Aussie tuh udah bagus banget, walaupun public, tapi itu udah standar national plus atau swasta ya di Indo. Kata gue sih, jujur mungkin ya, people tend to go private mainly karena religion classes sih kalau nggak salah. Kayak menurut gue ya, kalau di public kan there's no, for me in Australia there is no religion classes. Jadi tapi mirip sih sama di Indo. Biasanya masuk swasta mungkin juga karena ada pelajaran agama tertentunya, atau mungkin juga lebih ke aspek belajar bahasa Inggris dan lain-lain. Karena gue dulu di Indo, I'm national plus, jadi gue bukan internasional, tetap dianggapnya swasta sih. Jadi di sekolah gue dulu di Indo tuh ada pelajaran Indonesian, bahasa Indonesia, bahasa Inggris, sama bahasa Chinese. Nah itu tuh kayaknya itu kenapa mami papi gue mau masukin gue ke sekolah itu. Jadi kayak gue belajar lebih banyak bahasa gitu. Dan juga karena national plus, ya I'm grateful, one of our teacher, like our English teacher, itu tuh langsung dari Philippines. Jadi kayak mau gak mau kita harus ngomong bahasa Inggris gitu kan. Jadi kayak lebih banyak practice time-nya, lebih banyak exposure-nya gitu kan. Nah, tapi kalau kata gue itu kan Indo ya. Tapi kalau kata gue tuh bagusnya di Aussie tuh kayaknya hampir semua sekolah, mau private mau public pun, ada language kelasnya gitu. Karena waktu gue di public school aja tuh ada dikasih mau pilih, kamu bisa pilih bahasa English, bahasa Italian, sama bahasa Indonesian. Nah, terus kayak another school that I know, you can take Chinese, Japanese gitu loh. Ya tinggal tergantung sekolahnya nyediain apa aja gitu.
Yeah, no, benar sih. I think it's like, from my perspective, in a private school, I had the options to choose, and that led me to choosing, like, eventually when I get to like year 11 gitu. Well, then again, I didn't do year 11 in Australia, but like my friends who did, they ended up, you know, their selections led to the ATAR subjects that they would take. And I guess in a way that option is still there in public schools, but perhaps some public schools not so much. Like they don't have as much options that the students can choose. Maybe like only, instead of like having to choose, you know, the ability to choose like out of 4 languages, there's only the option of choosing between 1 or 2 languages. Like, you know, between 2 languages for a public school. I'm not sure. Yeah. But I think, I don't know, that's interesting.
Like depends. Yeah. Well, okay. I think we talk a lot about the schools in general, right? Jadi sekarang kita, I really want to know, karena I think there is a little bit of differences, and I think like this will be good as well buat yang lagi ngedengerin. Misalnya kalian pengen tahu apa sih bedanya, gimana sih rasanya sekolah di luar sama sekolah di Indo, apa sih bedanya segala macam. Kita mulai dari SD dulu nih ya. So Teh, what do you remember from SD? Aduh gila, SD tuh udah lama banget, gue berasa tua banget sumpah. But yeah, what do you remember from SD? Jujur sih, gue SD-nya kan di Indo ya, sampai UN, sampai kelas 6, terus sampai kelas 9 di Indo, baru pindah ke sini. Tapi dede gue tuh dari kelas 1 tuh udah di Aussie. Jadi, so I can see the difference. I can literally see the two side of the story. Karena kan gue udah ngalamin dan gue ngeliat dede gue belajar di sini gitu.
Yeah.
So I think bedanya itu di Aussie tuh lebih main gak sih? Kayak gue inget banget mereka tuh nggak ada PR, nggak ada ngapa-ngapain, cuma main di playground. Tapi jujur sih, tapi kata gue mereka emang lebih sosial. Jadi mereka tuh lebih, temennya tuh lebih dekat banget, bisa sleep over, bisa go to each other friend's house, dan lebih ada fokus ke their interest gitu loh, kayak lebih fokus sama sport, art, music. Karena mereka tuh ada banyak banget event gitu. Kayak di Indo tuh mungkin kayak event kita dulu tuh ada sih bazar, kalau nggak kita ada kayak lomba 17-an gitu. Tapi ya udah gitu, eventnya ya paling 2 itu doang gitu. Tapi kalau di sini tuh kayak ada sport carnival. Terus kayak mereka compete between factions gitu kan, ada 4 warna gitu. Serasa kayak di Harry Potter aja udah itu. Kayak tim red, tim green, tim yellow. Terus itu tuh take the whole day. Gila, sport carnivalnya tuh seharian gak ngapa-ngapain, gak ada belajar, gak ada nothing, cuma buat event itu doang gitu. Lomba lari, lomba lompat jauh. Tapi emang lombanya lebih individu ya, karena gue gak inget kayaknya gak ada lomba basket atau lomba sepak bola kayak gitu. Tapi kalau di Indonesia gue cuma belajar terus. Gila, kayak gue ngerasa gue tuh cuma belajar terus. Terus ya oke, belajar, istirahat, pas istirahat ya main, tapi ya udah abis itu balik lagi ke belajar lagi gitu. Tapi ya udah gitu, paling event-eventnya tuh paling antara kayak cerdas cermat gitu toh, atau nggak lomba menggambar, kayak situasinya lebih kayak gitu. Tapi itu not really in school, itu tuh kayak outside of school gitu loh. Kayak mami gue masukin gue ke lomba matematika, atau nggak ke lomba gambar, atau nggak lomba foto gitu. Terus nanti kayak event-eventnya emang mungkin banyak SMP SMA gitu kan, karena nanti SMP SMA udah ada pensi gitu-gitu. Tapi ya like what do you remember with SD?
Like, I get that the Aussie culture is way more laid back, and I think it's for a good thing. Like, it's a good way, you know. Mereka lebih fokus kepada pendidikan yang lebih holistik gitu, daripada you know, daripada fokusnya super hanya untuk akademia. And then I think itu jadi bikin muridnya lebih well-rounded, fokusnya tidak hanya ke you know, like the grades. Like, I think you end up building the sense that like a human is not judged based only on getting straight A's, but also like it's extracurriculars and like it's sort of like general sort of, you know, character and being gitu kan. But like what do I remember in SD? Like a few good and bad moments really, and I think it's like it ties in with this whole holistic versus academic focus thing. Like, I remember I did.
Soalnya lo juga pindah-pindah ya, Teh.
Exactly. Yeah, true. So it's like, I guess it's like I had to adapt to different situations, but I guess looking back now, I was able to like really see those differences. But I remember doing kindy to grade 2 in a Nacional TK and a Singaporean international school, and but they were both in Jakarta. And for both, even though like one was like Indo and the other one is more Singaporean based, I was very much pressured to excel academically. Like, there was not a lot of intellectual freedom in how we were taught, and like we had to just really, you know, work for it. Like, we had like tests like every other week. It was quite intense. And then I moved to Aussie, and then and I continued year 2 in like a private school here, and it was a whole different experience. Like, even though it was private, I think my parents had that perception that if I were to go to a private school, it's not going to be as different. Like, it's not going to be the biggest amount of difference between like going to like a, you know, Indo or Singaporean school gitu. Which I guess is true. Like, there is sort of like some similarities, but there's more differences than that. And then like I just remember like a very very funny sort of story where like my parents like, you know, dropped me off, and then I was like going to school and everything was fine, and then my mom had to go to my school to like see the principal or something, and then it was like one of my first few weeks settling into this primary school, and then she came to school during lunchtime. And then, you know, in Australia, like when you have lunch and recess, you usually sit on the grass, like you sit on the oval, you sit on the floor, and like, you know, in a circle with your mates, right? And then we were not used to that. So like I came from a school in Indo, and usually like this happens in Indo very frequently. Like, you don't sit on the floor. Like, kalau di kantin ada ruangan tertentu lagi, ada kantin untuk makan, tapi juga ada kayak meja dan kursi gitu kan. Like, there's like tables that you and chairs that you would sit on. And then the fact that my mom rocked up to school, exactly, like the fact that my mom rocked up to school and like she saw not only me sitting on the aspal, but like everyone else, and like we just like eating food with like our fingers, which is like technically like Indo style, but I think she wasn't used to that. Like she was just like, you know, her mindset of like an Australian private school was not that, and she just got so shocked. Like she freaked out and she actually cried. And then she told me this like literally when she picked me up later that day, and I was like, wow, okay, cool, interesting. But like, look, you know, it's an interesting and new experience, but I think I really enjoyed the whole well-roundedness of like an Australian SD, because obviously, like you said, I was introduced to the whole concept of sports carnivals. I had camps, I had like excursions, I had more experiences learning outside the classroom.
Oh wow, yeah, I never get to experience that. Iya sih, karena gue ngeliat dari gue gitu ya, kayak mereka juga lebih ke art gak sih? Karena gue tuh remember kita sering banget diundang, misalnya kalau ada dari gue do a drawing that's really good, jadi kayak ada art galerinya gitu, terus kayak bisa foto bareng sama artnya, terus artnya bisa dibeli atau dibawa pulang. Jujur bagus banget sih. Jadi kayak menurut gue sih itu kayak lebih encourage anak-anak untuk lebih kreatif, tapi juga be proud of what they do gitu loh. Betul. Be proud of what they have created gitu.
Betul. Yeah, I really actually enjoyed those like student art exhibitions. We also even had like performing arts concerts and all that kind of stuff. Like it allows each student to express the other side of their brains, you know, like, because, you know, not only do you need to be academically stimulated and like have those like technical skills, but you also need to learn those soft skills that I think only like the arts can really portray. And even if like you end up deciding or you end up finding out that arts is not your thing, at least they gave you that equal opportunity to try it out anyway.
Yeah. I guess bedanya kalau di Indo tuh kita dari SD udah harus belajar kayak yang lo bilang gak sih, kayak really focus on academic gitu kan, belajar banget, belajar banyak banget gitu. Kayak setiap tahun tuh pasti kerasa banget levelnya tuh naik, kayak PR-nya makin banyak setiap tahun, atau enggak tesnya makin banyak sampai akhirnya tuh UN gitu. Terus kayak di Aussie juga gak ada sih UN untuk masuk high school ya, kayak tapi ada NAPLAN mirip ujian negara gitu. Tapi kalau lu nggak lulus NAPLAN kayak tetap bisa naik kelas, karena kalau di Indo tuh UN tuh lebih kayak you graduated gitu kan.
Right.
Jarang banget yang nggak ada yang jarang banget gue dengar ada yang nggak naik kelas sih waktu gue di Aussie ya, apalagi kalau gue dengar dari gue gitu. Emang NAPLAN itu apaan sih, Teh? Karena gue nggak pernah itu sih, gue nggak pernah ngerjain NAPLAN gitu.
Really? Yeah, no, now you think about it, like, yeah, you know, you didn't experience NAPLAN. Wow, like you managed to you managed to scrape yourself away out of the situation, because you came at like year 9 when like all of your year 9 friends already did it. Hey, nice. I was lucky. Like, no, that's really true. Like, during my TK di Jakarta, I was already kind of like, in a way, force-fed a lot of different subjects, especially English. I was like literally like had to like learn all these different English words, but funnily enough, I guess that force feeding technique is not very effective, because when I moved to Australia, I didn't remember anything. So it wasn't really, I guess, the most effective teaching method for me, but you know, to each their own, right? Everyone has their way of learning, and you know, maybe the Indonesian education system is more suitable for you than the Australian one. This is just basically our opinions. But I guess for me, like, I had tests every week, like I said, in Jakarta. It seems as if it was just so intense, and I don't really remember a lot of anything else at school besides just studying. Tapi kalau NAPLAN, so NAPLAN is kind of like a test that you do pas kelas 3, 5, 7, dan 9. Itu fokusnya lebih ke widespread skills daripada subjek yang spesifik. So I feel that UN lebih ke specific subjects, right? So for NAPLAN sih, topiknya reading, writing, language conventions, and numeracy. So I felt for NAPLAN it was less pressuring as well. Karena komponen ujiannya nggak sebanyak UN, dan hasilnya menurut gue lebih jadi refleksi kepada prestasi gurunya daripada muridnya. Well, at least that's what like my teachers keep telling us, and perhaps it was just a way to make us less anxious about preparing for the test. Because it was kind of like, especially like think about it, kayak lu murid kelas 3 dan lu udah harus kayak, you know, take this like big sounding ujian gitu kan, wah NAPLAN gitu kan, on top of all of your other studies. So of course it's going to be kind of like a pressurizing experience. But I think the teacher was in a way saying like, don't worry, whatever results you get is not it's not because of you, it's more because of me as a teacher. And I guess that's a really good way to make us feel less nervous and pressurized. But yeah, no, I think that was an interesting way of looking at it, because I think for me when I was in Jakarta, even though I was young, but even like when I did high school in Jakarta, everything, all the grades was a reflection of what I was doing.
Yeah.
And my performance, which
Yeah.
is true. That is a good point. But at the
Yeah.
same time, it's also fair to consider perhaps it is the way the teachers are teaching the students, right? But then again, I never did UN, and I guess my experience in Indo wasn't 100% sort of like the most accurate because I went to an international school as well.
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
like what's ujian nasional like?
Oke, kalau UN tuh 3 kali ya. Jadi kayak semacam tes akhir untuk lu lulus untuk ke jenjang selanjutnya. Jadi dari kelas 6 mau masuk SMP itu sekali. Dari kelas 9, which is 3 SMP, mau masuk SMA sekali. Terus mau lulus SMA juga sekali lagi. Nah kalau UN tuh lu dites and everything. Jadi nggak kayak cuman reading, writing gitu. Justru lebih ke subjek. Gue sih untung UN cuma sekali ya, pas kelas 6 mau kelas 7. Dan itu lumayan sih. Itu tuh kayak UN Math, UN English, UN BI, UN IPA, UN IPS, UN PKN. Kayak basically semua mata pelajaran tuh ada UN-nya. Terus juga ada even sport, even olahraga tuh ada UN-nya. Namanya UN ujian praktek. Gue inget banget, gila, kita harus bikin kayak aerobik koreo, pakai lagu apa aja gitu, terus kayak lu bikin aerobik gitu, kayak berapa menit gitu. Nah kalau sampai kalau SMP, kalau nggak salah tuh lebih parah lagi, karena kan lu bakal lebih banyak dong UN-nya. Kayak contoh kan, waktu lu masuk SMP tuh IPA lu kan udah dibagi jadi 3, jadi dibagi ke fisika, kimia, sama biologi gitu kan. Berarti lu ada 3 ekstra UN gitu loh, UN bio, UN fisika, UN kimia. IPS juga jadi 3, UN sejarah, UN geografi, sama UN ekonomi gitu. Kayak lu bisa end up with kayak 10 paket UN dalam waktu 2 minggu gitu loh. So yeah.
Interesting. Like that just sounds pretty intense.
Yeah.
But maybe it's because it's all those like acronyms that I personally am not familiar with. I think it's like, again, right? Like once you're in the system, it will probably be second nature. Like the way you described it, it seems like it was second nature to you.
Yeah. Well, it's basically like IPA, IPS is just ilmu pengetahuan alam, and you know, IPS ilmu pengetahuan sosial kind of thing. But yeah, I think that makes sense. And I think like for me, I never question it. I'm like, okay, yeah, fair. This is how it's supposed to be. Tapi sedangkan kalau di Aussie itu dari SD mereka sampai kelas 6 aja kalau nggak salah. Terus kelas 7 sekarang udah dianggap high school ya. Dulu waktu gue pindah sini sih belum, 2010 tuh belum, masih kelas 7 tuh masih primary school. Terus sekarang udah dianggap high school. Dan mereka tuh nggak ada SMP SMA dipisah kayak di Indo kan. Jadi kelas 7 sampai kelas 12 tuh dianggapnya high school aja, nggak ada middle school, nggak ada high school, semua high school dianggapnya. Dari sini baru mulai dimana semua anak dapet the normal 9 subjects. Jadi SD kayak I think you got some subjects, but I don't know how many subjects do you do. But gue kan masuknya waktu kelas 9, jadi SMP that's why you get 9 subject tambah 3 elective. Dan elective tuh is literally any subject you want. And I love this so much about Australian school. Like I literally took drama, dance as my elective, and I took like Italian. Jadi kayak ada emang harus tetap belajar matematika, science, IPA, science, social kayak gitu, tapi tetap ada funnya gitu, like there's my fun subject. Terus kayak lu bisa literally bisa masuk apa aja guys, like you can even take woodwork, masak, business, IT.
Nice.
Kayak even dede gue kan kemarin ngambil bisnis kan. Terus tugas dia tuh literally make a proposal gitu loh. Terus dia milih kayak gue mau bikin proposal, pura-pura gue jadi kayak one of the K-pop producer. Jadi kayak this is my company, this is the actor that already come out from this company, the singers that already successful from this company gitu loh. Literally. Ya anything tergantung interest lu aja gitu. Dan kalau di Indo kan semuanya wajib ya, apalagi di SMP IPA. IPA IPS pun udah dibagi 3, tapi tetap semuanya tuh wajib dan harus kita belajar sendiri gitu kalau di Indo. Terus kayak dance gitu-gitunya, musik-musiknya gitu mungkin dibilangnya ekstrakurikuler ya, jadi nggak dianggap subjek dulu langsung. Kalau di Aussie sampai kelas 10 tuh tetap dianggap science aja, belum dibagi. Terus kelas 11-12 tuh baru dipisah. Dan itu pun kita cuma perlu ngambil 6 pelajaran dong di kelas 11 sama kelas 12. Contoh kemarin karena gue ambil, kan gue belum tahu nih gue mau jadi apa gitu kan. Jadi gue ngambil kayak semacam jurusan IPA lah gitu. Jadi gue ngambil fisika, kimia, biologi, English, math, sama math specialist. Dan itu 6 kan, dan itu tuh udah tergantung di sini tuh lebih tergantung jurusan mana yang kita mau ambil. Contoh karena dulu gue akhirnya milih ke engineering gitu, jadi gue harus ngambil fisika, kimia, English, math, sama math specialist. Jadi tuh udah wajib, udah harus, itu tuh syaratnya gitu. Tapi kalau misalnya lo mau ngambil ekonomi, lo bisa ambil apa aja, kayaknya nggak ada terlalu ada syarat kecuali English sama matematika deh kalau nggak salah. Tapi ya kayak beda-beda gitu, kayak kalau misalnya lo mau ngambil misalnya lo mau ngambil kedokteran, lo mungkin harus prerequisite-nya beda kali ya. Kalau di Indo, lo gimana Teh waktu lo di Indo high school ya?
Iya, kalau gue kan kayak gue kelas 10 sampai 12 di Indo. Tapi walaupun di Indo, gue ikutin kurikulum IB, which is International Baccalaureate. So shout out to all my IB kids. Like, IB is a whole different conversation altogether. But essentially, we had to take 6 subjects in our final exams.
Yeah.
And the way it works is like kelas 11 dan 12 is considered like one. Like, it's considered like the diploma program. So, I mean, ultimately, your grades from year 12 exam is like the final one, but like the work that you do from year 11 to year 12, there's like little extra projects that you do that count towards like bonus scores that add up to your overall score, something like that.
Okay.
But like the mandatory subjects in IB are a math, an English, one second language, and like a science, I think. And then the other 2 are electives, so you can do like another science, another math, or you can do even like history or drama, and all those like interesting sort of like subjects that I think are quite available in Australia as well. But with IB is like all of the subjects that you take, they have multiple levels. So you have like standard level, higher level, even like lower level, that kind of thing. And then I guess the good thing about IB schools is that, like, as its namesake, it's essentially the same curriculum around the world. So like as long as you go to an IB school, be it like Denmark, Australia, Indo, like it's all kind of the same. Just maybe like the options of subjects and electives that you can take are different. Tapi sih yang kayak gue tahu kalau di Indo ya, jadi kayak 2 jurusannya IPA sama IPS. Jadi kayak yang masuk IPA harus ambil semua IPA. Dari biologi, fisika, sama kimia, nggak boleh pilih gitu. Same with IPS. Terus mereka masih ada kayak tambahan gitu. So like English and like bahasa Indo yang wajib, sama like mungkin olahraga deh kalau nggak salah ya. Kayak then again that's I guess from like my knowledge of like friends who took like the normal system. But like, you know, I think it's all varied. And it's constantly evolving as well. Like we're talking about this when we were like circa 2013, 2014, and like education curriculum changes pretty quickly, especially nowadays. But I think like ultimately, out of all of this discussion, which one do you like better? School in Indo or Australia?
This is literally what is it called? An old age question. Is that how you call it? An old age question? Like literally semua orang masih selalu nanya setiap kali gue pulang ke Indo tuh kayak, man, lu lebih suka sekolah di mana? Di Indo apa di Aussie? Gitu loh. Jujur kayak mungkin kalau kalian udah dengerin part 1 ya, episode 1 kita, gue emang lebih suka pertemanan di Indo. Itu Indo udah menang deh, pertemanan dan makanan Indo tuh udah menang. Itu udah nggak bisa itu. Tapi kalau misalnya mau ngomong sekolah nih, just purely sekolah, there is pros and cons sih. Gue jujur lebih suka cara kelas 11-12 yang Aussie ya. Jadi kita nggak berat banget buat belajar semua pelajaran, tapi kita udah bisa prepare buat masa depan. Kayak emang jeleknya buat yang masih belum tahu mau kuliah apa, jadi ngerasa harus cover all grounds gitu. Kayak waktu gue dulu kan gue masih belum tahu tuh gue mau jadi apa tuh. Gue literally sampai ngambil biologi gitu. Padahal engineering tuh nggak ada biologinya, sumpah biologinya tuh nggak dipakai sama sekali gitu. Tapi buat orang yang mungkin udah tahu mereka mau jadi apa tuh gampang banget gitu. Mereka nggak harus pusing ngambil. Kalau misalnya emang nggak suka fisika ya udah nggak usah diambil. Kalau lu emang nggak pakai fisika gitu di kedepannya gitu. Mereka bisa lebih fun, lebih sekolah pun nggak terlalu berat, tetap bisa masuk ke kuliah juga dan lebih enak aja gitu. Tapi ya satu sisi juga yang gue bilang Aussie lebih jelek daripada Indo itu sayangnya tuh banyak banget murid yang kaget pas kelas 11 12. Karena kayak dari kelas 1 sampai 10 tuh everything is all fun and games, you know, like, dan juga selalu naik kelas atau ulangannya ya gitu-gitu aja gitu, nggak ada tiba-tiba berubah. Tapi kayak apalagi di sini kan juga kan kita math exam tuh bisa pakai ada calculator section and non calculator section. Jadi calculator section you can use your calculator. Yes, I know teman-teman yang lagi dengerin, kita boleh bawa kalkulator di ujian matematika kita untuk setengah dari our test. Terus boleh bawa satu page of note gitu. Nah, itu gue sumpah waktu pertama kali gue datang gue kaget sih. Gue yang kayak gila gampang banget kalau gitu, gue tinggal nulis semua yang gue mau di itu dong di note gue aja, terus gue bawa ke tesnya gitu kan. Jadi kayak you know all the cos, tan, sin gitu tuh semua bisa kalkulator aja, nggak usah pikir pakai otak gitu kan. Tapi tapi sayangnya tuh jadi lebih santai, menurut gue tuh jadi lebih gampang. Jadi pas mereka kelas 11 tuh gue ngerasa banyak banget teman-teman gue yang kemarin tuh kaget tiba-tiba ujian tiap minggu, terus atau ujian tiap hari. Terus unfortunately itu banyak yang drop out, banyak yang malah merasa mereka tuh nggak, I rather not go to uni gitu loh, atau mereka merasa kayak aku nggak bisa kayak gini, udah aku drop out aja dari sekolah, literally keluar dari sekolah dan gak lulus kelas 12 gitu. Mereka udahlah gue mendingan kerja aja gitu, daripada ini tuh susah, gue nggak bisa gitu. Nah ini yang gue bilang bagusnya di Indo, karena satu sisi tuh kalau di Indo tuh kita merasa tuh level up gitu loh, setiap tahun tuh makin susah. Jadi kayak kita udah mulai terbiasa dan udah di prepare gitu loh. Jadi waktu kelas 12 gue merasa tuh udah siap mental gitu buat ngadapin UN sama UAS yang gila banget. Tapi juga at the same time it's already something that we expect gitu. Tapi ya juga satu sisi mungkin karena mereka di Indo tuh udah lebih lama belajar fisika sebagai kayak subjeknya sendiri, biologi subjeknya sendiri, kimia subjeknya sendiri, jadi lebih ngerti gak sih? Karena buat gue ya, like for me for example, bayangin dari kelas 10 ke kelas 11 kan kelas 10 masih dianggapnya semua science ya, terus kelas 11 baru dipecah. Jadi tuh technically gue tuh baru belajar sepertiga tahun fisika, sepertiga tahun biologi, sepertiga tahun chemistry. Tapi kalau di Indo lu yang dari kelas 10 udah dipecah 3 dari semenjak kelas 7, terus lu naik ke 11, berarti kan lu sebenarnya udah belajar 1 tahun worth of fisika gitu, 1 tahun worth of chemistry, 1 tahun worth of biologi gitu. Jadi kayak like your knowledge itu udah so much more gitu kan. Jadi pas lu ngambil subjek itu lagi di kelas 11, lu udah tahu apa yang lu expect gitu, nggak kaget. Sedangkan kalau di sini tuh kayak kaget gitu, tiba-tiba kok banyak banget, terus kayak topiknya banyak banget, setiap hari ada pelajaran ini terus gitu. Dan nanti tuh apalagi kalau yang ngambil 2 IPA sekaligus kan jadi ngerasa kayak double the load gitu. Padahal tuh biasa kayak nggak apa-apa, tunggu term 3 aja baru belajar fisika gitu. Sekarang harus belajar dua-duanya at once gitu. Itu sih apa yang gue pikirin ya. Kalau lu gimana? Do you like Indo better or Australia better?
Look, like all you said are really good points, and I think ultimately, like, because we started this discussion right about like a general comparison of like Indo versus Aussie schools, but more on like an educational perspective, and I think that's true. I think it's like, while there are a lot probably more obvious differences, like uniforms and like there may be other stuff that we didn't really like touch on in this episode, but I think ultimately it really bottles down on like what we learn in the schools. And how the curriculum is divided and everything. And there's good points in each one. I feel like my schooling years in Australia were a lot more relaxed, and I attained a more well-rounded benefit in terms of physical, emotional, and intellectual well-being. Whereas in Indo, regardless of what school type I was part of, overall they were all quite academics heavy. And it was a common culture to have more academic lessons outside school. Jadi kayak kumon kayak les lagi kayak atau even like other types of tutoring. I mean, we also had our fair share of sports and art activities that were accredited in Indo,
Yeah.
but it just seemed overall more academically competitive. And I think it's also attributed to the general culture of
Yeah.
of how they perceive education in an Australian versus an Indonesian society.
Yeah.
That being said, though, I also feel that the time period, so I mentioned this before, the time period has an effect because my sister, my younger sister, went to the same school as me in Australia.
Yeah.
And she actually felt that when she went through the same grade level that I did, just like, I guess, in a way, 4 to 5 years apart, she felt it was more academically competitive at some times.
Yeah.
So, like, you know, when I thought it was super chill, she was like, no, it's actually quite intense. So I
Yeah,
guess,
yeah.
like, not only the environment, but also the people. Like, the environment obviously affects the people, right? And affects the vibe of, like, how people perceive academics.
Yeah.
So definitely the times and the world is changing. And our reflections, you and my reflections, are probably more accurate to when we experienced them back in the 2000s. Because right now it could be completely different. And, like, you know, please, like, you know, if you guys are listening and interested to share your perspectives, we are definitely, you know, we're definitely curious to hear about them as well.
Yeah.
And let us know what we've missed as well. But, like, you know, that has been a lot of talking.
That's true.
But hopefully episode ini has been kind of like useful to, you know, untuk kalian bisa ngerti perbedaan dan kemiripan sekolah di Aussie atau di Indo. Hope it gives you some insight to start off with,
Yeah.
and helps you, you know, build on your own reflections and your own experiences. Tapi kalau kalian yang di kelas 12 nih, atau yang mau kuliah ke Aussie after lulus, make sure you stay tuned to our next episode. There's going to be a part 2 of this education-based episode, karena kita akan bahas tentang bedanya transisi dari sekolah ke uni di Indo sama di sini. Dan university life di Aussie itu gimana?
Ya, benar banget. Kita bakal bahas tentang gimana cara masuk ke jurusan yang kalian mau, apa bedanya tentang ATAR, atau gimana cara masuknya kalau misalnya kalian dari international school, atau kalian dari public school atau swasta di Indo, dan juga bedanya, apa sih bedanya college, uni, sama TAFE untuk major-major tertentu. Terus, boleh nggak sih, kayak pertanyaan-pertanyaan misalnya, boleh nggak sih, kita kalau lagi kuliah kerja di Aussie, dan lain-lain. So, check out in our next episode.
This has been Kremes. Until next time.
Thank you for listening.
Jangan lupa like, comment, and subscribe, and share it with your friends.
I'd love to hear from you. Please reach out with your comments, stories, and even questions on what we should talk about. See you in the next episode.
Bye. Dah.